And the thing is, it's your choice what energy you want to approach this with. Do you want to choose fear or do you want to choose love? That's the choice at the end of the day, and that choice is up to you. How many times have you thought about quitting your job and starting a new life? Hey, I'm Lindsay, the girl who actually did that. And now I'm on a mission to change the 9-to-5 narrative that dreading Monday and working for the weekend is normal and acceptable. My goal is to help you see your potential beyond your credentials, gain clarity on what it means to live life on your own terms, and build the confidence to go after your dream career. I'm here to prove to you that it's possible for you to do work you love, make a positive impact on the world, make even more money than you're making right now, and live a deeply fulfilling life. So let's dive in. You guys, before we dive in today, I have to share this clip from a coaching call I had with one of my clients the other night. I literally could not believe my own ears. Just listen.
Between literally being anxious all the time, having to take anxiety medication, which I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow that I was originally going to cancel because of this virus, but I'm still going because I'm going to be like, listen, I don't need it. I haven't taken it. It was my choice. You can just delete the prescription. I'm good. My life is fine.
What call is this? Call 9. It's been 2 months. That's it.
I know. That's why I'm like, who am I? What did you do?
And imagine if all of this shit was happening before we had worked on any of this. Where do you think you would be right now?
Oh, I would be crawling on the walls, freaking out. I probably would have used a sick day because I would have been freaking out so much I would have made myself sick.
So just to recap, in the midst of all of this coronavirus chaos that is making everyone, including me, I've had my moments of spiraling into anxiety and fear. In the midst of all of this, my client is going to ask her doctor to take her off of her anxiety medication because she does not need it anymore and has not used it for weeks. We have only been coaching for 9 weeks. This is week 9, and she started coaching with me in January because she was experiencing overwhelming stress and anxiety at work and in her personal life, and she just felt like she couldn't get a handle on it. She was literally getting migraines every other day because of how stressed out she was. And now she is off her migraine meds, no longer getting migraines, and is about to be off. She's been off of her anxiety medication. My mind is blown. I can't believe, I'm so proud of her, and I can't believe the power of life coaching. It is so powerful, you guys. And she is someone who has tried all the things. I mean, she's tried therapy, she's been on medication, and I'm not saying those things are bad and they don't work. But life coaching, this is how powerful life coaching can be. And if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety, this episode is going to be talking about dealing with this pandemic and everything that's happening. And if you're someone who deals with a lot of anxiety, and especially if you find yourself spiraling with everything that is going on right now, I've opened up my schedule for the next week or so for some SOS free coaching sessions. If you need coaching, if you need support, reach out to me. Find me on Instagram at Lindsay M. Hansen and send me a DM. I do have limited time for those free sessions, so don't wait to reach out if you feel like you need that. But I am also playing with a few other ideas that I have to be able to just help more people and serve you guys and support you guys in whatever way you need as much as I can. So stay tuned for that. I have a few ideas in mind, and if this is something that you're struggling with right now, if you're feeling the anxiety, you're feeling the fear, you're feeling the uncertainty, whether you are someone who has been thinking about quitting their job, changing career paths, starting your own business, if you're just freaking out about the virus, freaking out about how's this going to affect the economy and your job and your business, whatever, like there's so much uncertainty right now. And so if you are struggling with any of that and you're feeling the anxiety, please send me a DM on Instagram so that I can get a sense of like what you're struggling with and how I can help you guys during this time, and what specifically you need help with. So that would be super helpful for me, obviously. Hopefully you will be able to get some support with whatever you are struggling with right now. And we're all gonna get through this together, all right? So I hope you enjoy this episode. I really hope it helps you to get a different perspective on everything that's happening and be able to see things in a new light and experience this pandemic and the quarantine and the uncertainty and all of the effects on the economy and whatever with more peace and more love and more calmness, okay? I promise it's possible for you. If it is possible for my client who just 2 months ago was experiencing anxiety so bad she was getting migraines from it, and now in the midst of coronavirus is going off of her anxiety meds, like you can handle this, all right? So enjoy the episode, take a deep breath, and let me know how I can serve you during this time. Hello, my loves. Hello, everyone. Today I'm sharing my thoughts and insights on everything that's happening in the world right now, and I wanted to share my take on things and give you some tools and some perspective that might help you if you are in a very anxious state, if you're feeling frantic, feeling the chaos, feeling the fear, and you want to shift into some more positive, high vibe emotions, some peace, some calmness, just getting a relief from it all. That's what I want to dive into today. I have not spoken on everything that's going on, because I myself needed to process it in a lot of ways, but I feel like now I have some really good stuff to offer for you. So we're just going to take some deep breaths and we're going to calm down, and it's going to be just peaceful because we don't need to be frantic and chaotic and all over the place right now. All right. So here's the first thing to know. I want you to understand how our brains work so that we can understand like why everyone is feeling chaotic and freaking out about coronavirus and about everything that is happening, right? So our brain's primary job is to keep us safe. And so our brain literally looks for anything that is dangerous. Like that is its job, to find anything that could be dangerous so that we can avoid it and not die. So when things like this are just like constantly on the news, constantly on social media, always in our face, our brain kind of gets addicted to it. Like we want to keep watching the news. We want to keep hearing about coronavirus because our brain is like, this is something dangerous. I need to know everything about it so that I can protect you from it. And it can be a really vicious cycle. So understanding that your brain is going to want to consume all of the information to try to protect you. But because we're living in the time we are living in, and for the majority of us, this is not actually life or death. Most of us, if we got this virus, would survive it, right? Like it's not actually life or death. It's just a matter of wanting to protect everyone and slow down the spread of this virus. But our brains process it as if it were life or death, as if we're literally being chased by a bear. That's how our brain processes this information. So any way that you can limit your consumption is going to be a good thing. And that doesn't mean be ignorant. Like, stay informed of what's happening, whether that means turning on the news once a day or like subscribing to get notifications from the CDC or whatever. But don't overconsume. Don't like overwhelm yourself with all of the negative, chaotic, frantic energy that is going around, because it's not necessary, right? To stay informed, you don't have to be consuming it all day, and you don't have to be in that frantic state. So that's the first thing. The second thing that our brain does when we are in times of massive uncertainty is we look to other people to decide how we should be reacting and how we should be feeling, right? Because we're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I should feel about this or what I should do about it. Let me see what everybody else is doing. But when no one actually knows how to handle this because it's never happened before, then what everyone else is doing is they're freaking the fuck out. Like, they're panicking. So don't look to other people who are panicking and be like, oh, I should be panicking. This must be bad because everyone's panicking. It's not. Like, the fact that everyone's panicking isn't proof that this is bad. Everyone's panicking because it's just unknown, and that's what we naturally do. Right? So just understand that your brain is going to want to take in all the information and look to other people to decide how you should be reacting. And just be aware of that and try to limit your consumption, and like, don't look to other people and take on their emotions, right? And the thing is, fear is not required. Fear is not required for us to get through this, right? I think it's easy for us we kind of get into this state of like, if I'm not freaking out, that means I don't care. If I'm not freaking out, then I'm not worried enough. If I'm not freaking out, then I'm not going to be taking the necessary precautions, right? It's the same. It's like our brain looks to the danger so it can freak out so that it will protect us from it. But the freak out was actually never necessary. You can take all the precautions. You can wash your hands. You can practice social distancing. You can quarantine yourself. You can stock up on things that you want to stock up on without being in a state of fear and panic. Like, the fear, the franticness, the panic, the chaos isn't necessary. You can still protect yourself and do your part and take all the precautions without all of that heightened negative energy. And the thing is, it's your choice what energy you want to approach this with. Do you want to choose fear or do you want to choose love? That's the choice at the end of the day, and that choice is up to you. And like I said, you can do all the things. Like, you can wash your hands, you can stock up, you can distance yourself from the energy of fear of, oh my God, I need to do this so I can protect myself and protect the people around me. And oh my God, there's not enough toilet paper. And oh my God, I need to wash my hands 75 times a day so that I don't get sick. Or you can do it from the energy of love, of protection, of I want to do my part. I want to help slow down the spread of this virus. I want to protect myself and the people around me. And that's a much more calm energy, right? So you don't have to be in this state of panic in order to do the things to like do your part and like be a good human and help the world get through this. So the fear is not required. And it is okay to be internally calm during this time. It does not mean that you don't care. It does not mean that you are not being prepared and that you're not doing your part. Panicking does not serve anyone, right? Like, think about doctors and like EMTs. They're literally trained to remain calm in high stress, life or death situations, because it doesn't serve anyone for people to panic. And like, you can do the things, you can help people. You'll be better able to help yourself and help the people around you and think clearly about the situation if you're not panicking about it. So the panic, the fear, the franticness, none of it's necessary. So no, it's not necessary. Know that it's okay for you to be calm and for you to not be over consuming the news and social media at this time. You can take a break. You can do what you need to do to calm down. That is okay. You're allowed to do that. And another thing to understand is that fear is what created this. Fear is what created this situation. Fear is not a reaction to what's happening. Fear created what's happening, right? A perfect example of that is like the stock market. The stock market is a perfect reflection of how our thoughts create our reality and create our experience, because the stock market doesn't just like drop and then people freak out in response to that. The stock market drops because everyone freaked out and like took their money out. And that's why the stock market drops. Like it drops in reaction to people's fear. Our fear is not a reaction to the stock market dropping or like the virus, like anything that's happening. Fear is what creates this type of environment, right? It is what created it. And the irony of it is being in fear, being in that state of like anxiety, stress, negative emotion, literally makes you more susceptible to getting sick. It literally makes the spread of this virus happen faster when we are all freaking out about it, because it suppresses our immune system to be in that state of emotion. So not only is the fear not necessary, but if everybody were to like take a deep breath and not be freaking the hell out, it would actually be really helpful to the entire situation. And I'm not saying, like, obviously it's a virus, like it's gonna spread, but being in fear does not serve any of us, and it probably has contributed to why this thing is spreading so rapidly, right? And so process your emotions. You're allowed to feel however you're feeling. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, if you're scared, if you are just frustrated and pissed off that everything is getting canceled, whatever that is, it's valid. Feel it, process it, but then choose to shift into love. Choose to shift into a better, higher vibe emotion that's going to serve you and serve others and serve the world better. Does that make sense? Okay. And then know that, like, so if you've been following me for any length of time, you've heard me talk about the thought work that I do and the model that I use, which basically says that the circumstance is always neutral, and how we feel about any given circumstance is not from the circumstance itself, it's from our thoughts about it. And it's the whole idea of like, what's the perspective you're going to choose to have. It's like you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it and how you think about it and how you feel about it, right? So the fact that this virus is spreading and like everything that's happening, the fact that everything is shut down, the fact that I just had to cancel my trip to Boston, the fact that my gym is closing, like everything that's happening is a neutral circumstance. It is not good or bad until we have a thought about it that it is good or bad, right? And so that's where the fear comes in, because we're making everything that's happening mean that like the world is ending, right? We're making everything that's happening mean, oh no, this is terrible, this is bad, we're all gonna die, right? Like that's why we feel so anxious, so high stress, so much in fear. It's not what's happening, it's how we're thinking about it. And a perfect example of this is I was talking to my dad last week, like the day after they canceled like all the sports, just like all the sports. And he was like, you know, I wasn't really that worried about all of this, but then when they canceled everything, like they've never done that before, and when you think about how much money all those companies and networks are going to be losing now, like they wouldn't have ever made that decision if it wasn't something serious, and like this must be bad because they canceled all the sports, right? And that's one way to interpret that situation. That's one way to think about that situation. And if you choose to think about that situation that way, you're gonna feel scared, you're gonna feel anxious, you're gonna feel like, oh no, this is really bad. But here's another way that you could choose to look at that situation. Wow. Look at the lengths that the world and our government and our country is willing to go to right now to protect us, right? It's an act of protection. It's an act of love. I feel so loved and safe and protected and supported. And that's amazing. That's another way to choose to look at that situation and look at everything that's happening is it's out of love. It's out of protection. It doesn't have to be out of fear. It doesn't have to be out of the world is ending. It doesn't have to be out of like all this frantic chaos. No one knows what's happening. Like, what if it's all just out of love? What if it's all just because of where we are in our society, because of what we know and the knowledge we have more effective ways of slowing down the spread of this virus, and we're just doing things we've never done before because we want to go to that level of protection of all of us. Like, that's a much more calm and peaceful and loving way to look at everything that's happening. It's going to make you feel a lot better than, oh my God, this is so unprecedented. All of this stuff has never been canceled like this before. It must be the end of the world. And that's where your brain's going to naturally want to go because, again, it's looking for things to protect you from. But you don't have to go there. You can go there and then choose again. And this has been like, it's a process of always shifting into a higher energy, always deciding what you want to think and how you want to feel, and just choosing love over fear again and again and again and again. And I've had to do that myself. Like, I've had my moments over the past couple weeks where I've been freaking out and like I've gotten sucked into the fear and the chaos, and I've had those thoughts of like, oh my God, this must be bad because they're canceling all these things, and like, this isn't fair, and I had to cancel my trip to Boston, and like, everything that's happening is, frustrating, and this shouldn't be happening, and all of those thoughts that make us feel really, really anxious, and like the world is just different, and nothing is the same, and like the world is ending, right? I've been there, and it's just literally a matter of choosing again and again and again to shift into a higher energy, shift into choosing love over fear and choosing calm over anxiety, and just choosing new thoughts, choosing a new energy over and over again. And you have the power to do that. You have the power to change how you feel about this situation, and you have the power to get through this without all the anxiety and the chaos and the franticness and the fear. That's possible for you, and something that's been so powerful for me, and I was like, thank God I have a coach right now. Like, thank God I have my own life coach who I hired a few weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't know how I would have handled this without a coach. Like, I'd get through it, I'd figure it out, but like the fact that I can just message my coach and be like, hey, I'm having a moment and it's really hard to deal with this right now, like, it makes it so much easier for me to shift more quickly into that place of calm and peace and everything is fine. It makes it so much easier, and it makes such a difference. And over the past few days, I've just been like, thank God I have a coach, and I can't imagine where I'd be without her. And so, I've just been thinking a lot about that and about all of you who might not have that right now, and how all of this fear and anxiety can be super overwhelming. And so if you're in that place right now and you're feeling really anxious, whether it's about you're scared that you will get sick or that someone close to you will get sick, or you're just freaking out about like how this is going to affect your life, and you're pissed off that all your things are being canceled, and you're just like in this unknown state, and you're feeling lost, and you're like, I don't know what to do with myself when I'm being quarantined, and I'm stressed out about it, and like, what's going to happen to the economy, and like, am I going to lose my job, and like all of the stress. If you're in that right now, I'm here. Like, I'm here for you, and I feel like it's my duty as a coach to kind of like step up into this space during this time. And so if you're struggling with that, I've opened up some time in my schedule for the next couple weeks. So if you feel like you just need some relief from it all and you would benefit from a coaching call, send me a DM, and we can do like an SOS coaching session, free session. If you just like need to shift, you need help like coming into a new perspective about all of this and feeling better about it and dropping the anxiety and dropping the negative energy, send me a DM. I'm here for you. We're all going to get through this, you know, like it's all going to be fine. It's always working out in our favor for the best. We're all going to be good. We're good. We are good. We're all good. Everyone take a deep breath and choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. All right, my love. I appreciate you for showing up for yourself. I hope that you feel a little sense of relief after listening to this. I hope that if you were feeling all the anxiety and fear and franticness before, that now you're feeling a little bit more at peace and a little bit more calm with everything that's going on. Like I said before, if you need support, find me on Instagram at Lindsay M. Hansen and send me a DM. If you want an SOS coaching call, I'm only going to be able to do those for the next week, and when the time slots fill up, they fill up. So reach out to me if that's something that you need, or if you want to let me know what it is that you're struggling with as I come up with some ideas of how I can help you guys and support you, even if you feel like one-on-one coaching is not what you need. All right, if you found this helpful, please take a screenshot and put it on your Instagram story and tag me. I'd love to see that you're listening. And if this helped you, then it can help somebody else. We're all, going through it. Like I said, I've had my moments, and being able to come back to podcasts like these has helped me tremendously. So share it with the people you love, Alrighty. I love you. You're safe. You're good. We're going to get through this. Take a deep breath, and I will talk to you next week.